You're listening to the Player Issue Podcast. Here's your host, Aaron Warwick.
Hello, I'm Emma Walkington, and yes, you are listening to the Player Issue Podcast. I have just taken over Aaron's job.
Excuse me? This is my show, thank you.
No. I'm
Yes.
the star of the show.
I don't know if you heard or not, but he said this is your host, Aaron Warwick, at the start of the show.
But Aaron's a girl's name, so it could be me.
Fair enough, I suppose. We'll go with it. Anyway, welcome to the show. This is episode number 25. So, yes, it is our anniversary show. We're going to say it's our anniversary because it's taken nearly 2 years to get to episode 25. So, every 25 episodes is a massive anniversary for us, I think. We're supposed to have Craig Callaghan as episode 25, as many of you have asked me multiple times, when is the Craig Callaghan episode coming out? Very sorry to tell you, but we had a lockdown over here in Perth, which multiple other cities can attest to. So unfortunately, he's had to put his episode on the back burner for now, but we'll get him into the studio very, very soon and do his interview without any shadow of a doubt, because you'll want to hear it, and I really want to do it, because it will be a lot of fun.
You just want him to see the cave.
Well, no, to be fair, he wants to see the cave. It was his idea to begin with to do it, because he wants to see my collection. So the idea was for him to come and see the collection and me to hold him captive in the cave and do the podcast with me.
Right.
Left.
So,
Upside down. So yes, so he will be coming on very soon, I hope. He does work all over the place, so it's rather hard to get him here. I do live in the middle of, I guess, nowhere, because we're a long way from there and we're a long way from here and a long way from anywhere. So,
and we don't exactly want a massive fine for having someone over here during lockdown.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to go in lockdown again, so God knows when we're going to be able to get him out here. I don't really want to do another one over Skype. I'd rather have him in studio interview, because it is always better. The sound quality, obviously, as you can tell, is much better. Emma's sitting right next to me, so we'll probably get in trouble for not social distancing, but
We live together.
we live together. Fair enough. But no, we will get him in here for sure. We will do that interview, and it will hopefully be our next one, because it will be probably another 4 weeks till we do our next interview. So hopefully we were able to get Craig in for that one. But in the meantime, we were able to get our number one fan to come on the show. It's taken some time to get him to do it. Probably a little bit of nerves. Probably didn't think he was worthy. But no doubt he's been our number one listener from the very beginning. He listens to each interview or each episode probably 6 or 7 times each. So we really have to thank him, because every time he does, I get paid 3 cents per listen. So
Contribute to our wedding, thank you.
he does contribute. We are nearly at our very first ever payment from Spreaker for advertising monetization, which means that we'll actually get paid for doing the show for the first time ever. It's only taken 2 years to get here, but we'll get $10 from Spreaker. And yeah, it's been a long road. And I have spent a hell of a lot more than $10 on getting here, but
He pretty much comes home with something every day and he goes, this is for the podcast. And I'm like, is it really though? Is it really for the podcast?
bit of me, bit of the podcast, but mostly it is actually the podcast. But
He came home and went, I bought you a microphone. I don't need a microphone. Yes, you do. You need the microphone for the auction. Well, you
did.
technically bought it for yourself. No, it's your microphone.
well, it's not, because it's sitting in the corner. I'm not going to use it anymore. So it was for you.
And you mute me half the time anyway.
Fair enough, yeah.
Can't even talk.
So anyway, we'll get on to the interview today. Our number one fan, an absolute pleasure to have him on. Here he is, the TikTok famous Andy Munro. Andy Munro, how the bloody hell are you, mate?
I'm very good. Very happy to be in my favourite podcast as well.
Oh, he started off well.
He's done well.
Started
He
real
has
well.
done real well.
His favourite podcast.
Yeah.
We're excited to have him on for sure. Like, this is a long time coming, Andy. I know there are a lot of people, a lot of listeners out there who have been just as excited as me and has tried as super hard as me to get you on the show. Why has it taken so long to get you on?
I reckon I wanted the guys I look up to go on there first before me, and I'll give them a run first. And some of these guys have better collections than me, in my opinion, so I wanted to hear them go first, and I'll take the seconds.
Sounds like you want to hear what you're up against and then come in and show them all what it's like.
Yeah. That's what they've got. Now here's what I've got.
This is how it's done.
That's it.
All right. So, Andy, those who don't know you, and I don't know who that would possibly be, but Who do you support, and how did you come to that decision?
Well, yeah, I support the Crows, but you might not be able to tell from some of my collection. I guess it was just from birth. I guess my being South Australian, were Crows fans from when they came in. So, when I was a kid, in the early 2000s, I used to get around all the merch, and I used to watch old mum's VHS tapes of all the Crows wins in the 90s back in the good days. And, so I just always been a Crows fan from my family.
So your whole family supports Crows?
Yeah, well, just me. I'm an only child, so I guess that was a heap on me to put on the Crows jumper in the primary school footy. I used to wear number 4 on the back because actually Matthew Clark was from Mount Gambier, and my mum taught him maths in high school. So that's how I got that one.
Nice. So where are you right now? Then you've already mentioned Mount Gambier. Where are you sitting right now?
Yeah, so I'm in Narracourt, which is about 4 hours south of Adelaide, about 5 hours from Melbourne. So, bit in the middle. It's not ideal, but it's a nice place to live down here.
Nice. So, you're on a farm. Do you work on a farm or live on a farm? Sorry.
Yeah. So we got a sheep, and we got cattle as well. About 2,000 sheep, 100 or so cattle, and that's what we do. So when people ask in my TikToks, how do you afford to buy this stuff? Well, that's what I do.
Very nice.
So very early mornings, very late nights.
Oh, well, ideally, but I take it pretty easy, and it's not too bad.
So we've already mentioned how excited we are to talk to you. The reason for that is your social media status. Where can people find you on social media? So we're starting the interview off nice and early. Everyone's going to get on it, and they're going to listen. They're going to think, I keep hearing about this bloke. Where can I find him? Where are you on social media? Where can people find you?
Well, on Instagram, I'm Munro Jumpers, and TikTok, Andy_Munro_. I never planned for my TikTok to be known by anyone, so I didn't make a very good name. So that's my TikTok.
Good you mentioned that, and I'm really glad you did, because it leads into my next question. You've got nearly 10,000 followers on TikTok. 10,000, Josh.
It's a lot.
What does it mean to be TikTok famous, and how did it all come about?
Well, I'm not sure if it's TikTok famous yet. There's a lot of people with more followers than me, but
You've done it.
I guess it all came.
I have 7, so yeah, 10,000 is a pretty good effort.
well, maybe we'll give you a shout out and see how many we get you. But
that's the call of a TikTok famous man right there.
It's all about the shout outs. But anyway, I got into TikTok because I guess everyone's getting into TikTok, and I was just on there all the time, up late nights. Wasn't a great time. I used to spend all night pretty much scrolling TikTok, and I used to look at so much crap. It's very addictive, and I spend so much time on there at the moment.
It's I feel like you might have been one of those people that got in at the right time as well, where it was just sort of you just post anything and it was just going nuts. Which helps obviously, but I mean I've watched your stuff as well, but it just feels like it's one of those platforms where you can just post anything and it just gets seen by so many people, and you just have the ability to just reach out into this whole new, Instagram and Facebook were very restrictive in who they showed things to. So obviously, man, I've just blanked out where I was going with that one, so that'll get cut.
It's spot on there.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, it's coming into that right time where it's that new sort of thing building up, and then all of a sudden, you're posting your videos and stuff, and it goes crazy, and you're just sitting there going, why do people want to see this?
It's weird because most, like Facebook and that, like you were trying to say before, Facebook and Instagram and all that, they're the longer videos. People don't tend to have enough time to go through Facebook and watch long videos as much as they do what it seems like with TikTok. Because I don't know how, but I got my missus into TikTok. Purely, I think we went to a Wildcats game and we were sitting in a game and they brought out these two lovely females, and they were talking about these girls being TikTok famous, and they were doing some dance while they were recording it, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And they just kept talking about it at halftime of the Wildcats game. So we went back home and we got on this TikTok thing, and I was like, oh yeah, cool, some pretty funny stuff on here. But probably a year and a half later now, and if I look over at the missus, I guarantee she's on TikTok just flicking through all night long. So it's huge. It's a big deal.
Yeah. And I mean, 10,000 followers on it as well while there's others that have done a lot, still it's a it's a nod to you because I gave it a crack for about 2 weeks and I got about 60 followers and went, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm not getting the attention I want here, so I'm just going to go and filter this elsewhere.
Well, that brings a question, really, doesn't it? So how do you get TikTok famous? How does that happen? How did you get 10,000 followers? I mean, you didn't get your man boobs out or anything, so I don't know how it works. Or did you?
I'm not quite into the dances or anything like that. No, but I just made footy videos, and I've always been interested. Like, I always wanted to make YouTube videos, but it is so hard to get that start. Where TikToks are really easy because it just shows you to random people, and they'll just like it. And then it's sort of a snowball effect from there, and it spreads over the next few days until the video dies. But yeah, I've made videos, and people saw the jumpers in my background. I was like, "What's this jumper? What's that jumper?" So I had to make videos explaining them, and then it sort of turned into something else.
So I think you're being pretty modest here. There's an underlying little thing that you haven't talked about yet. Now, it exploded at one point. How did it explode? How did you get so many so quickly? He doesn't want to mention it, Josh.
I did get a shout out from Dill Buckley, so that really helped me blow up on Instagram.
And Dill Buckley being Dill Buckley from the Dylan Friends?
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, I've always been I mentioned I like this podcast the most, but that's one of my other favourite podcasts, Dylan Friends. And I had a few of his jumpers, so he's seen my content before. So I guess he shared it for some reason, and that really helped me out on Instagram. And that was before I hit 1K on Instagram, and then that really helped me. Now I'm at 2K, so it's pretty cool.
So if you don't remember, or some people don't even know, Dylan was actually a famous footballer. Well, I wouldn't say he was famous, but he was a footballer at one point as well. He's really just a podcaster now, as everyone knows him. So that's a good shout out to get, I reckon.
Very handy shout out to get, and obviously, like you said, helped build the following on Instagram as well, which is always a handy thing because I know that's a hard following to build Instagram. So.
I find Instagram, like you're saying, Instagram really, if you go on there, really all it is I don't know what it is now, but reels are just females dancing. That's basically all I ever see on Instagram now. Or the Instagram, the influencers.
They know what you like.
And I don't think that they're going to want us.
I don't want to go into the details of explaining the algorithm to you, but like Andy said, they know what you like.
No comment, Josh.
We'll just leave that.
I found out that the missus actually listens to this religiously. So
the next question,
which is
ironically about questions. So, what's the number one question that you get asked on social media?
The number one by far is, where do I buy those jumpers? Where do you buy jumpers? That's just the main question, and the answer is a lot of places. You don't just buy them from one place, and that's something I have to answer quite often because there's many streams. I don't get jumpers just from eBay; they're from all sorts of places.
What answer would you normally come up with? So if you had to answer that, what would you say is your number one go-to answer?
My go-to is just join the AFL player shoe market on Facebook, and hopefully that doesn't annoy too many people with kids going on there or anything like that and posting jumpers that aren't player shoe. But that's my number one answer, and hopefully they can learn a bit along the way.
Are there any odd spots you found a jumper? Like what's the one spot that's been like, how did I get this?
Well, just mainly people messaging me from TikTok that aren't part of the jumpers community, and they don't really appreciate it. Well, they like the jumper, but they thought I might like the jumper a little bit more, and they end up messaging me. So I've had jumpers like from players' sons and also like people that were involved with footy clubs back in the day, and they just got given jumpers from family friends and stuff like that. So like without TikTok, they would have never surfaced. So that really freaks me out when my video reaches someone like that.
Yeah, that's that's not even an avenue I thought was possible, like getting jumpers through TikTok. So
it definitely sounds like I need to have a bit more influence on TikTok. I reckon.
Sounds like
we'll give you that shout out.
Do you ever? I mean, obviously you receive some on TikTok or offers for some, but have you ever sold any through TikTok? Posting it and people have seen it and been like, "Oh, I want that," and they've gotten in contact with you or anything like that, or just blatantly holding them up and being like, "Buy this."
Yeah, I reckon I probably sell about 5 or so a month just from TikTok. I put up a video every now and then, and because people always want to buy from me for some reason. I don't know why, they don't just buy them themselves, but they want to buy from me. And I sell a few on TikTok every now and then.
Actually, that's another good question. If you were to put it on, say, the Player Issue Marketplace, do you reckon you would sell it as quick or even for as much as you would if you put it up on TikTok?
It depends on the jump. If it's, say, like a retail one, I would sell it a lot quicker on TikTok because a lot of guys want to get jumpers under $100, considering like they're teenagers and stuff like that. But if I put a more expensive jumper up on TikTok, it often doesn't get a lot of interest because like someone that doesn't know a lot about jumpers probably isn't going to drop 300 on something they don't know a lot about. So if something more valuable, I'll put it on Facebook.
Have you found that people that you've steered towards the marketplace or just the hobby in general from TikTok, have you found that they've stuck around a bit and got into really collecting, or is it mostly just the ones that drop in for a quick look and then they kind of just step back out again when they see how hard it actually is sometimes?
No, there's a few that have stuck around. There's some guys that just want to buy 1 or 2 jumpers, but there's probably about like 15 or so guys that said they started collecting from my videos, which is pretty weird when someone says that to me. But I guess everyone has their own way of finding out about the community and the hobby. But yeah, there's a few that stuck around and they're slowly chipping away, some of these younger guys.
Well, actually, I can tell you one of them, and I know you know who it is, but the last episode that we did with Kylie and Anthony Ordino, they had a big shout-out for you being one of the main influencers to get into the hobby. So
there you go.
Yeah, that was cool. I didn't even realize it's hard to keep track of everyone, to be honest. Not to like be arrogant or anything like that, but it's just a lot of people message me. I can't keep up sometimes. But yeah, also Josh Waite, who you had on the podcast, I've known Josh for like 10 years or so, and he was just a friend of mine, and he followed my Instagram and then ended up collecting himself. So he spent a lot of money on jumpers now, so hopefully I haven't sent him broke or anything like that.
Well, hopefully, because it'll be more for us then. When did you start collecting player issue jumpers, and what was the first jumper you ever picked up? And I don't think it was that long ago, was it?
No, I started 2018, so coming up 3 years. And the first player issue, I reckon, might have been from you, I reckon.
Oh.
There you go.
Because it was just after Lachie Neale left. So Lachie Neale, he was part of my footy club. He's a few years older than me, so I didn't really play a lot of footy with him. Perhaps only a little bit of training maybe, but hard to remember like 10 years ago now. But yeah, I ended up getting him once he left Brisbane for $100. So I guess that was a pretty wise investment now to pick up Lachie Neale.
I actually, I think I remember that jumper as well because I remember considering getting it as a joke.
He did.
I wanted to buy it off Ez as a joke.
I wouldn't let him.
And he wouldn't let me because I just don't think he wanted to see it ever again at that time. So I'll have that if you've still got it.
There's a 2013 home Lachie Neale, right?
Yeah, the long sleeve one.
Yeah, remember that.
Yeah, that's it.
Should have burnt it. Nah, I was kidding. I love Lachie, even though he did leave us, but he was always going to go on to bigger and better things. He would have won a Brownlow with us, I reckon, anyway. But so you have an interesting little side quest that I've been following along for a while now. You've got spreadsheets and all sorts of things with your little collection here. Share with us what that is and why did you start doing it? Do it.
I think I saw this the other day and I want to know more about it as well because it's cool.
Yeah, well, I guess when I did pick up that Lachie Neale because he was from my town, I thought I might pick up a Jack Trengrove because he's also from my old footy club as well. I remember in primary school he was such a gun and I thought he would play the AFL. Just had a feeling. But anyway, I did want to get a few more local players and I thought I may as well pick up a few more from Mount Gambier as well. So probably 5 years ago. And I remember in high school, I used to go on Wikipedia and update local football leagues, Wikipedia pages with like players that used to play in the AFL. So I had this list of players that did play in the AFL. So I thought I'll make this my little niche, I guess, because I didn't really want to collect Crows jumpers because at the time the Crows had just lost the flag and I thought they were going to win the flag the next year, 2018, and things went to shit. So I had to find a hobby outside the Crows, and that's what I picked. So
obviously Narracourt, you say is your town. Is it out in the middle of absolutely nowhere? Does anyone know where it actually is?
We got 5,000 people here, so it's not the smallest town. I like to think, but I don't know how many people know about it, to be honest.
Yeah, so probably bigger than or actually much bigger than Corrigan.
There's been a few players come out of Corrigan too.
No, absolutely not. There's been no players.
Few players come into Corrigan.
There's players that have passed through. I mean, Quinton Lynch had a farm on the other side of Corrigan, so he came through the town once. We've got about 1,000 people in the town, so 5,000 would be like a city for me.
How does 5,000? How do you get so many AFL players in that area? What's in the water down there, or is it the livestock and stuff that you're cooking up for?
That's what I was gonna. I think that's where I was going with this, because we've had none, and aside from that, it's
shit farmers, mate.
In the area, in our area, it's literally Nat Fyfe and what's his name?
Shit players. Yeah.
Plays for Richmond, Liam Baker. Yeah, he's from Lake Grace, basically, where Nat Fyfe's from as well. So they're pretty much all that I can think of at the moment that are from anywhere near where I'm near. But you've got a list, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, you might think it's a big list, but some of those guys didn't play a game, so I'm not that picky on who I select. They just have to be on the list. But before I was playing footy, like back when I was a kid, there was only Aaron Fiora, who was a local player from my town. So there's only the one. And it's just been in the recent years. There's been a few more pop up. But I think it's just because the development system's like very decent. Like all these guys, they go up to school in Adelaide, so they're not spending much of their time at high school down here. They all go up to private school in Adelaide, and
obviously, yeah,
that's how they sort of get picked.
How many players are on your list? There is a huge list. Now, obviously, they're not all exactly from Naracoorte, right? They're in the kind of the area. How many players are on there?
Yeah, so I think, I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's about 50 or so. But, yeah, they're all from the local 3 leagues. So there's the Cowrie Naracoorte Tadeo. That was my old league when I used to play footy. And then there's Mid-South East and Western Border. So it's just from Keith to Mount Gambier. That area, so it's just the area southeast of Adelaide. So it's a fairly wide area. It's not like it's just a small area, but yeah, that's how I picked it.
How many have you managed to get out of all those players?
I think I've got about a third at the moment. It's hard to get the older ones. That's the main issue. I'm getting the earlier ones, but yeah, the older ones, the 90s ones, especially the guys that only list for a few years. Like you can get a guy. I ended up getting David Grengold from Doug, the centenary year collector. He thankfully held me out there, and I got that one because he played for a number of years. But some of these guys are on list for like 1 or 2 years. It's really hard to find them.
Yeah, I can't imagine that would be easy at all. I mean, and looking at the list as well. A third of it, that would probably be my entire collection, because I don't really have that much at all, to be honest.
I think it actually is, Josh. You counted it out. I think it's 12.
That's my collection sitting over in the corner there.
In the little suitcase, the little tiny one.
I mean, you've got a list of jumpers you want to collect, and you've got a third the way through, and you've already gotten miles ahead of what I've got. How big exactly is your collection? Do you know how many player issued jumpers you have all up?
Yeah, roughly I would have 200 in total. That includes retails. I would say about 150 is of player issues. So I like to get the older retails for my 90s collection, but yeah, for player issues.
If we're including retails, I've got 13 then. If we're including 14 if we're including retails. No, that's huge. That's
How many player issued? Did you say how many player issued?
150.
Yeah, about 150 of 200, I reckon.
In 3 years. I don't know why I looked at my watch then, because it tells me the time, not the year, but 3 years.
I mean, when did we start? Because we started at the same time.
2014 I started.
Okay, so I'm on
so
about
got almost 1 year.
And Ez has those cupboards.
Yeah, I got 4 cupboards instead of suitcases, but yeah.
So I've got a bit of catching up to do, but that's all right.
Going back to Naracoorte.
I was gonna pull this beef up after the podcast, but I've messaged you about that Beams jumper, and I got no love in return.
Oh, did you leave him on scene?
Uh-oh.
Let's have a look. Hang on.
You know why, Josh?
Andy,
he's TikTok famous.
He can't keep up with us. He can't keep up with us.
It's a bit hard.
Yeah, there it is. Just sitting there.
Funny, I'm looking at Andy. He's definitely looking at his messages right now. I'm looking at Josh. He's looking at his messages. We're going to have a quarrel on the air here.
Gosh, oh, you.
Ludlow.
I don't know.
Let's just watch this get seen live on the podcast. Andy
Is it
reading
on
my
Facebook
message.
or where?
On Facebook, yeah.
On the book.
It's not-
I hope I message right, Andy.
You might have got the wrong bloke, I reckon.
Oh, you bastard. Sell me your Beams jumper.
Sounds like he still has it, though.
Sort of.
Oh.
There's a deal in the works. I don't know what the process, what the status on that exactly is. I have to get in touch with that bloke, but
That's all right.
see if that falls through.
It sounds like he hasn't paid for it, so it's Josh's now, yeah?
I'll tell you what, Josh hasn't paid for a jumper he's already bought this week, so let's just...
Have you not paid for that auction jumper yet?
I just realised as soon as I bought that car that I haven't paid for that jumper. I'm doing it again. No, I'm going to pay for it tomorrow. But yes, we'll be in contact because, yeah, I'm sure if you've got a few bits that I want to buy, I'll buy them.
Potentially.
It sounded weird.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Anyway, so we'll get off the marketplace for the moment.
So, obviously a massive collection, 150 odd jumpers. There'd have to be... have you counted how many different manufacturers? Does anyone know how many different
Oh, God knows.
ones there've been?
I'm not ready to do that.
Obviously, there's been a few manufacturers. Do you have a favourite?
Yeah, I do have a favourite, and it's ISC, which I think a few people like ISC the most. And I think it's called the feather material. It's really silky, smooth. It looks good, in my opinion. The material is nice. Unfortunately, they're not around for us in the AFL anymore. But yeah, I really like ISC.
I think ISC was... Well, they were the ones that got us into it. Was it GWS that had it?
GWS had ISC originally, but it wasn't that nice material. 2012 was that
nice,
awful wetsuit material. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
No, I reckon
I don't like that.
when we went...
That's 2013. So, yeah, they were ISC 2013, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just remember getting... Maybe it wasn't them. Maybe it was someone else.
No, it was GWS. We picked up 30-odd GWS jumpers from
That's
Jim
right,
Kids.
yeah.
And they
Jim
were
Kids.
the ISC feather. They're gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous price.
Just from the moment I saw them, I just remember picking one up for the first time, and that was the first player issue as well, and just being like, "What is this? Like, this feels so much better." And I don't think I've worn a retail jumper since.
No, I haven't either.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, I can agree with that.
ISC is your favourite, obviously. Is that in retail as well? Or do you have a retail favourite manufacturer?
No, it wouldn't be in retail. I don't think I have many retails of ISC, but I do like the 90s retails of Puma, the Puma Cool Max range, when they brought in the polyester jumpers in 96. I really like them. And also Nike from the time from the 90s was really good. I just got a Nike 98 Carlton pre-season just yesterday, so that's really good, those Nike ones.
I did watch that TikTok as I was doing a little bit of research last night, and I saw that on eBay as well. I think it was up there a couple of times, and the lovely... I don't want to talk about eBay right now, but anyway, you managed to score it the second time, obviously, so you've done very well there because it went pretty cheap as well. So you did real well. That's a gorgeous jumper. That's amazing design, that with the white stripe down the middle.
Yeah, it's so good. It's my favourite Carlton design, and yeah, I was lucky to get the sloppy seconds of that one because obviously the first buy didn't pay out for it, so I'm happy with that. Always trying to snoop in with a deal.
Yeah. I won't talk about eBay because it bothers me at the moment how much manipulation goes on with eBay. So I don't even bid on it. But you did real well, so well done.
that Carlton one obviously brings it to 151 player issues. Where do you put these? Because that's a lot. Like I've got a suitcase that I bring along with me that's sitting in the corner there.
Yeah, it's not hard for him to bring his
So it's
collection.
not hard. I'm portable. I take mine everywhere now.
He still hasn't taken photos of them all, though.
Oh, jeez.
I
That's the
can't.
first thing.
I mean, obviously, I've gotten photos of them all. Just not.
You took 3.
nice. No, these are different. These are new photos. Obviously, Ezra's got his massive cabinets that I'm looking at here that span across the whole length of the room.
The museum, yeah.
How do you store yours, or where do you store yours?
Well, I've got about 60 odd up on my wall, so you can tell I'm a pretty popular man.
I see that, yeah.
And also I've got about 100 in a rack And I also got another rack next door as well. That's got about like 30 or so. That's got a lot of my soccer collection in as well. So I have to put that somewhere as well. So that's another storage issue. But yeah.
How do you decide what goes up on the wall and what goes on the racks and
It's got to be a rotating thing, right?
are you rotating or are you playing favourites?
I should be rotating, but I do play favourites with my 90s jumpers. I do like the 90s jumpers most to display. And then some of the other favourite designs I have, like the Origin Energy Bulldogs or like the Freo throwback from a few years ago. I just put that up the other day. So some of my other favourites, like a few Fitzroy ones, like I got Jack Redden, Match Worn Fitzroy Hall of Fame ones.
Love it, yep.
Like the way you threw that one in there.
I can see the two.
I can see it, yep.
The two up there. I've got the one on the left. My left, your right, whatever it is. I've got the one on the left. I got
Elliot Yo.
Elliot Yo, that's the one. He gave it to me. I don't actually know if it's match worn or player issued. He just had them in his house and was just like, have these if you want. Which is handy, yeah. But I've had a mind blank. I was going somewhere with a question as well.
I've got a question
that's
for you.
One that gets cut out.
I got a question for you there, Andy. So you mentioned that you're a real popular bloke, right? So you've got an entire wall, or 2 walls, full of all these jumpers. Now, what's the dating scene like in Naracoorte? I mean, you're a single man, obviously, I'm assuming. You're TikTok famous. Now, single man by choice, because are you waiting for the right one? or are you just ready to go whenever someone's ready? Are you ready to pull them all down, chuck up some photos, some nice pictures of some beaches and things like that? Or are you just like, oh, nah, I'm gung-ho on the footy jumpers. The women will just have to wait.
Might be the second one. I don't look too far into the ladies around here, to be honest. So play them pretty cool, to be honest. I don't chase too much. Not really looking too hard, but if anything pops up, I'll assess it then.
Probably wise in small towns. Probably a very wise decision not to look too hard in a small town, because you just won't look for long, to be honest.
I have no doubts that he's been courted over TikTok, though. He's very quiet, man.
I'll let him answer that.
Yeah, not usually the ones I'm looking for, but I sometimes.
Fair enough. I'm just going to jump back to Naracoorte for just a minute. So, obviously, you said that they're harder to get or harder to find the older players. How do you go about if you're trying to get them? I've noticed that I have talked to a few of the players. Now, how's that when you go about doing that? Are you messaging them on Instagram or Facebook, TikTok, whatever, to try and find them? And then how they react when you message them, asking, for instance, the players that have never played before, thinking, oh, gee, what's this guy messaging me about a footy jump before? This guy probably never even heard of me. How do they react?
Yeah, they just, I think they think it's cool, to be honest. Someone kind of recognises them, I guess. I don't know. I just message them on Facebook. Facebook isn't great because you get the message request, where Instagram's a bit better, where it pops up in the Instagram message request, and that's a little bit more accessible. So I've had a bit more success on Instagram, but they've been pretty eager to help me out, to be honest. I've been surprised. Some guys, they don't have jumpers, so they can't help me out. There was one guy I messaged who didn't play a game, and he only was like, he trained with Geelong. He was drafted in 1990, so he only trained with Geelong for like half the year, and then he went back home. So it wasn't quite in the era of today where they take it a bit more serious. But he didn't have anything for me, unfortunately. He did sell me a Brisbane Bears retail, so I was just happy to pick that one up.
That's nice. I've been, the last few days, I've been keeping my eye out, because I'm like, I really want some Bears stuff now. It's getting to that point where I'm like, I want to get some Bears stuff. It's
getting to that point where he's just going to make it himself.
Actually, that's true, yeah.
Well, I can help you out there as well. I have got one that I didn't sell on eBay. So, I fall into that category of getting, not scammed on eBay, but getting stuffed around on eBay.
Ah, I love it.
Love it. Here we go. Beware the bear. Here we go. I'm going to just, my paychecks are just going to Andy now, apparently.
The Andy Munro account.
Straight into his.
Right.
Don't pay me.
Nothing
just go
that.
straight to Andy.
Now, obviously, you got a fair amount of jumpers, 150 player issue jumpers. How many of those are crows? Do you collect crows mostly, or is it just whatever pops up?
I'm ticking away on the Crows collection, but it's more of a thing if I see something at a good price, I'll be happy to pick it up. I always try and buy at a price where if I had to sell, I could make that money back or at least get a little bit extra. That makes it a little bit more justifiable to me to spend money constantly. But yeah, I do have a few Crows I'm just ticking away with, and I'm not too gung-ho on it, but I'm just, ticking away.
Mm.
With the Crow stuff, have you found... I mean, obviously, you tasted success a lot more recently than the Lions did. Did that, when they went to shit, putting it nicely, did their stuff become cheaper, or did it sort of linger around, or was it expensive prior to that? Because I know for me, the Lions stuff was, I could buy anything. I could buy anything that I wanted, basically, because it was, didn't really cost much at all for a long period of time. And then we got Lockie Neal and started winning games, and now I can't afford a player issue Reef Matheson.
Reef Matheson.
So is that a similar situation, or did you, having success sort of recently, did that sort of keep the price sort of up there a bit, or did they plummet with their form?
Yeah, it was a bit high when I started in 2018, just coming off the success of 2017, but it has dropped, especially when Sports Gear Australia picked up jumpers last year. That was very accessible for all of us, so that was very valuable. And they had the failed sort of Indigenous auction where no one really knew about, so I ended up getting about 6 of them.
Yeah,
so I still got those for 150 each. I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, they did go pretty cheap last year. Obviously, there wasn't a lot of hype around, and it was pretty grim. But now things are starting to pick up, and you can still find cheap older ones. So I think it's not quite back up to the successful prices. But yeah, the club success really determines the prices of the jumpers.
Yeah, I was pulling out some of mine, looking at how much I'd paid, and I was just thinking, they're worth so much more now. I mean, it's lucky that I got in it when I did to start collecting, but now I'm like, I just wish I went ham back then. I just wish I bought everything that came my way, because now it's a mission.
And I will say that I did throw everything his way as well.
He really did.
Just never bought them.
Yeah, it's like that with a lot of hobbies, though. Like cards have blown up heaps, and
cards
other
have
stuff
gone
like
mental.
I'm out of cards.
I got out as well. I mean, I can't even get cards, and now I can't get, what's this membership that they've got? That's sold out.
You don't even get anything from it. You just
the select membership, that's sold out now. I can't even buy the membership to
$100
buy the cards.
to just say you're a member. What happens? But anyway, yeah, cards have gone mental. So the Crows have had not a lot of design changes really over the years. If you get a jumper pop up that you already have a design from, will you grab it anyway, or is it, I'll have a look at the player. If it's a better player, I might change it out for that player, or do you not care, really?
Yeah, I don't really care too much. I'm pretty content with if I've already got one, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not chasing Crows players, because that's when it can get pricey, and I've already got other priorities. I don't want to collect 3 things at once. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm trying to get most of the away designs, because I'm not too fussed about the home. I've always been into the away. Like when I was a kid, I used to get every away design, and when they released the throwback one in 2008, I was so happy, because that's my favourite design, the Crows jumper from the 90s, and that was the first one I ever picked up. I picked up a fake. I knew it was fake at the time, but I did have a bit of jumper knowledge, but I just wanted to pick it up. Those fakes that used to pop up on eBay a bit.
Is that the Roo?
It was number 18 actually, so it was just Eddie Betts, but I guess it was Troy Bond back in those days.
Oh,
but yeah, I was happy just getting that design, and that's sort of.
Is that the one up above your right shoulder there? Is it the Screaming Crow in the middle?
No, I don't have that one hanging up, but I do have the Andrew McLeod prototype, and I also got the 2008 one.
Yep. Oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
It's a good photo, though. We'll just take a photo of that.
Andy, come back.
Okay, we're back.
Oh, he's back. I hope you got the photo of that.
Sorry.
Yeah, you got him.
Yes, I got him. It's
us
us pointing.
I don't remember the question, so let's move on from that one.
Yeah, that's all right. I was talking to myself. I didn't realise it.
It just froze for a bit there. I mean, if this stays, then
Did you keep going with that as well? Did you keep answering that question the whole time?
I think I did. I don't know what happened.
I agree with everything you said, mate.
Yeah,
Thank you very
totally.
much.
Okay.
That's the best answer I've ever heard in my life.
Those were some beautiful words.
It's a beautiful mind. Let's
So
bring
they're
it back on track, Josh.
Yeah, they're all hanging loosey-goosey up there on the wall. Have you got any wrapped up in a frame yet, or...?
No, I'm not into framing just because, one, it will cost me money and I've spent too much money and I don't have anywhere to put them either, obviously. Got them all hanging up. I don't really have anywhere else to put them.
Takes up
so, no,
three times the room, I
into
guess.
frames.
Got another question for you, actually. I'm going to bring it back. I'm just going to ask these really random questions because I'm more intrigued than anything. Watching 2017, I think if you try to pick up a Taylor Walker, you'd probably be paying $1,300 to $1,500 for a Taylor Walker. Last year, I think they struggled to sell Taylor Walker jumpers. I think some people were selling them for $200 to $300, and even then they were sitting there for a while. I'd imagine he's jumped back up in everyone's favourite
Got
list.
somebody, yeah.
Everyone's heartstrings are plugged, and he's back up to the top. Would he be the top selling jumper now, you reckon?
He'd have to be. He's playing unbelievable. Yeah. Like, no one expected this, so I guess last year, he looked so done, and I'm so happy he's back to his best and probably playing better than he did when he was younger. So,
It perplexes me.
He'll be the most.
Yeah, I can't lie. The amount of times I would sit there listening to an Adelaide game last year and the commentators would go on about how amazing he is and the great. I would just sit there and say, my God, he's the most overrated forward in the competition. And then he pulls out what he's done this year and he's just said stuff you to all us and shows you what he can actually do. So good on him. And yeah, good luck trying to get one of his jumpers now.
Yeah, for sure. I won't be buying it. I will leave that to others. I'll try and get a bit of value elsewhere. But yeah, it's awesome to see him running around like he was back in the day. I don't know what it is. I think he just got over injuries and he's just a bit lighter now. He can run around for once.
He seems more invested, more interested, I think. But it's good to see. Someone get their footy love back, I think. That's what it takes.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone loves Tex now. So it's good everyone's getting around him. Unlike few years ago where everyone hated him. But I guess that might be why he dropped off. He got so much hate after the grand final and Jake Lever leaving, and it was the media, they really wanted the Crows to fail, and they did. So, I think he's just probably a bit happier now and just firing.
That's weird, isn't it? But yeah, you're right. I think the media just blows everything so far out of proportion and they don't even think about what it actually does to the footy players' minds and, in the end, what it does to their performance. So, yeah, it's good. It's sad that it took a terrible year for it to bring it back around, but at least it's taken a year, right? You're not it doesn't look like you'll be on the bottom again this year, which is good.
Yeah, in an alternate universe, he could have retired last year. We would have never saw this. So I can't be too critical of Kane Corns because both of his sons follow me now, so I can't fire him too much. But he might be partially to blame.
Well, it's a good thing. He could have ruined his legacy almost if he did retire last year. But no, he's brought it back around. And I think if he has another big one this year, if he retires next... Well, he's only young, isn't he? He's only 29, I've heard, isn't he? Or just 30?
I reckon he just turned 30.
Yeah, he's...
He looks like a much older bloke.
It's...
Got the grey spot in the front, that's why.
That's what perplexed... I just can't wrap my head around him because he's not that old and he was playing pretty good, and then... It was just like he was just not him at all. He was just this joke. Honestly,
sadly,
it went from. I mean, in my eyes, it was like here's this elite player who's now literally a joke, and made even more a joke because he was here, and now all of a sudden he's here down, skill wise, and he's just done this 180 and. I think, were we watching an Adelaide game recently? We've watched a lot of football in the last
We've watched a hell of a lot of football, yeah. We definitely watched the Crows games.
But, yeah, I just remember watching one of the Crows games in the last few weeks and just I had to double take. I was like, is this him? Is he, what is going on here? It's good to see, though. It is really good to see because, obviously, like you said, you sort of risk that, or am I done? And obviously having people, the media especially, telling you you're done, it would obviously weigh on you, but yeah, good on him for coming back and just firing. And
I think there's no doubt that the media has influenced a lot of players to retire too early when they could still keep going and at the elite level, but unfortunately they've been pushed out by this negative connotation that they're just dumb.
There was one recently, last couple of years that I thought he could get going for sure.
Joe Watson, I think, is one of them, comes to mind.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously he
Yeah.
got destroyed in the media, and I don't think that helped his mental health at all or his desire to want to ever play football again. But yeah, that's one of them, I think. But I think it happens a lot. I mean, Dane Beams, obviously, he's got his mental demons as it is anyway, but it didn't help with how much he copped it from the media. Even going to Brisbane and getting away from it all, he still copped it.
He's still, yeah.
Yeah. Were you thinking Tom Boyd?
No.
That's another one, though.
That's another one, though, but I feel like there's one more. I'll think of it maybe. If not, I'll message you and you won't reply.
I think you got the wrong bloke.
I've seen the message, Andy.
You get a soccer player in the profile picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely you.
All right. Okay.
That's definitely you.
It's buried deep in all of those messages that you haven't read. All those message requests. You might find some good talent in there, Andy. You might want to go through them.
Bit of scouting.
So hang on, you mentioned before that you played footy, right?
Yeah, I used to play footy. I played footy all throughout juniors, and then pretty much I always enjoyed playing soccer as well. So I played both one year, and then I just ended up picking soccer because I was slightly better at it, and I enjoyed it more. So footy is definitely the biggest sport of the community and stuff like that. But I just enjoy playing soccer. Now I coach as well, so just been involved with that for like the past 9 or so years.
Nice. Do you coach soccer?
Yeah, so I coach under 14s. I've coached them. This is my 3rd season, so we've made this finals every year. So they're going better than my playing team, but not too bad.
Nice. How does it feel coaching people the same age as you?
I am 10 years older than them, so I do feel old when I'm around them.
I didn't know that. That's a good little fact there that you coach soccer. That's really cool. Do you have an Andy Munro match worn jumper?
I am in the process of getting that. We got new kits this year, so I'm hoping to get mine. I think they're trying to auction them off. So we actually did auction off. We had a 50-year anniversary one, and I was trying to buy mine. This was before I started collecting. Or maybe it was just when I started, and mine sold for about $400. So
Jesus.
I wouldn't, because I was wearing number 10, and like this lady whose husband used to wear number 10, he passed away, and he was a probably better player than what I was, and she wanted to get that jersey, so she ended up buying that, and I missed out. So hopefully I can get this one this time around.
I've seen it a little bit lately, but it blows my mind when local clubs auction off their jumpers. I mean, I get it. But I've never seen that before until the last couple of years. And when I was playing footy, I'm sorry, too bad, so sad. We're passing on to the next lot. I've never got a chance to own any of my jumpers. But I know he's got one. Josh has got one as well that he brought with him.
Yeah.
So I know he's got a Josh Ludlow match. Well, actually, he didn't even play in that game, but he's got a Josh Ludlow player issue. I did play, did you? Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting.
I've got my footy one too. I put that up when Lockie Neal won the Brownlow.
Oh, yeah? I used to play for Forestdale, and we used to play in South Fremantle's old kit. So I'm really disappointed I didn't get to keep any of those. Never thought about it. Back when you're a young kid, you don't really care or think about the jumpers you're wearing, but I really wish I kept some of those, actually.
Yeah, this one, obviously you can't see it, but Andy can.
Yeah.
This was I think it was a centenary, so we had like 100 years.
And that's the Corrigan Football Club.
Yeah. And I think mine sold for $250 to me, so not bragging.
And that was an auction?
Yeah, we auctioned them off as well, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Mental. And so Corrigan actually coached by Brad Bootsma at the moment, are they not?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so, I don't know if you get this as well, but obviously there's not many players that I know that come from Corrigan, but we get a lot of players out that way, like come and play country footy and stuff. I don't know if you've had the similar situation out where you are. You get people come home or just people on loan, I guess, after they've wrapped up their footy careers. I mean, I played on Leon Cameron once in a scratch match, out in country footy, which is wild.
Leon Cameron or Leon Davis?
Leon Davis.
Yeah, Neon Leon. I thought that was awesome.
Why was I thinking Leon Cameron?
That makes more sense.
Leon Davis. Sorry. And I mean Sam Butler.
Yeah.
He retired from West Coast and went straight out and played country footy out in out that way as well. You know, the next year, do you have a similar situation out where you are?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of like ex-NFL players and even AFL players that play and they get paid. So, there's a bit of underhand payment. My old club got done for that, so we won't speak too much about that. but yeah, like even local players that move up to Adelaide, they do get paid to come back and stuff like that to play for the club. So that happens quite a bit, and there's a bit of money floating around. So there's not too much money going in soccer. I guarantee you that. But there is in footy.
It's crazy how much money is even in country footy. I mean, you know, some of the blokes that are just you know, good footy players that live in Perth, they get paid to come down. I don't know if it's the same with you, but we get players that are brought down from like the city to come and play every weekend and stuff, and they get good coin. Like, it's a good side hustle to go out and play country footy. And you know, some of these blokes aren't even. I mean, they could probably play waffle maybe, but they make more money coming and playing out in the country. I don't know if you've got the same sort of situation as well. Just random players that just come out and dominate. But but yeah, the AFL players, when you start talking them, they get paid, obviously not AFL money, but they get paid some pretty good money just to play country footy.
A lot of the players actually kind of auction themselves off as well. So they'll finish their career because they have such a big name still. They'll say, hey, get my name out there. So they'll still have managers. They say, get their name out there and say, I'll come play for your team for X amount of dollars. Yeah. And they'll play a game here, a game there. And they'll play for a bunch of different clubs just because they get paid a fortune.
Yeah, yep.
They get free drinks on the bar. And they don't give a shit about the game. They'll rock up just, you know, half-ass it.
Yeah, they always play full forward.
Yeah. And then they'll just go in the bar and smash the bar for free. But they've had a good time and got paid a fortune for it.
I'm pretty sure my little brother played against Sam Butler in I think it was actually one of his first games after the AFL, and I think Zach was like, it should almost be illegal at how good they are. So he could still be, you know, some of them could still be playing, and they're just unlucky that, you know, they're just sort of fringe players that get pushed out, but they just come in and dominate. Like, obviously you get some people that sort of mess around and
Daniel Kerr.
Yeah. But some of them just come out and they're just, you know, 40, 50 touches in a country footy game, which is wild, but yeah.
So you've had players at your club. Do people tend to want to get a hold of their jumpers? Do they auction them off or anything like that? Or do the players take off with the jumpers? Or do you know what happens to those?
I've got no idea, to be honest. I haven't been involved for a while, so I've no clue, to be honest.
There's definitely some backhanding stuff going on there.
I'd say it'd probably the jumpers get changed every 5 years and washed every weekend sort of deal. So they'd probably, players would wear it, and then the next bloke that comes in to play a game would just probably pick up a random jumper, which is probably the jumper he wore as well.
I don't know, man, because I reckon when Cyril Rioli went to Northern Territory last year, back to Tiwi.
I think if you've got someone like Cyril Rioli playing for your club, though, you're not going to put that back in the kit
Ben
bag.
Cousins did the same thing. Ben Cousins played for a couple of games in country footy. I guarantee you that some of those jumpers went missing. He probably took them and hocked them as well. But
oh yeah, if it's, probably.
I guarantee it happens even in local footy. So jumpers are a big deal, no matter what. Not just for us collectors, but they seem to know what they're worth as well sometimes. So they're not silly men most of the time.
Yeah.
So the Crows have had plenty of quality players coming through the club. Whose jumper do you have that you would say is the best player's jumper?
Yeah, that's a good question because I have a few prototypes. I can't really claim them as player shoes, although I do have a McLeod and Rashudo prototype jumpers. For player shoes, for match ones, I would say Ben Hart is probably my best. I've got a few more modern ones, like I've got a Tex SANFL player shoe. I've got Roy Laird, he's one of my favourites. Rob is one of my favourites, Riley O'Brien. So they're some of my favourite players there.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned the Ben Hart. I know you big listener. You would have heard me mention the Ben Hart jumper that was on eBay recently multiple times. So over a couple of episodes, which, as we all know now, is about a month per episode. So I'm surprised. Were you surprised that sat up there for so long? I know it was $650, but such a quality player and quality jumper. Were you surprised that sat there so long? And did you want to have a crack at it?
I was thinking about it, but it was also Nigel Smart, wasn't it?
Sorry, yes, Nigel Smart. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, okay, my bad. But you know what I'm getting at.
Get it right. yeah, I did want to buy it, but no.
Who's a better player, actually? Now, it's a good question. Would you rather a Ben Hart or a Nigel Smart?
I reckon Ben Hart, just because he played that a little bit longer, and I remember him a little bit more where Nigel Smart retired. He was the oldest ever Crows player when he retired in 2004 because he was 35. But, yeah, I don't really remember him as much as I do Ben Hart.
Yeah, I think
But
my age, I think that I was growing up. Obviously, they both played at the same time, but my age, I think I watched and really enjoyed Nigel Smart a bit more. So. But no, great players, both of them.
Yeah, especially because Smart, he could go forward as well and he could kick goals. So he was a bit more dynamic than Ben Hart.
Were you surprised that that sat there for so long, though?
Yeah, because I reckon if that, as you mentioned before, like with a few years ago with the Crows jumpers being more expensive, that would have sold a lot more quicker, for sure, a few years ago. So, yeah, I was surprised.
It was probably about 2 months it sat there for. I was shocked about that. Yeah, anyway. Random question for you.
You did well to plug it.
Yeah, I tried my very best. And that was an ex-guest as well, so I thought as soon as I said, it's the old guest, Rob's, was it Rob? Yeah, Rob Lee's jumper.
Yeah.
I thought, like that, bang, it'll be gone. No, it didn't happen. Still took a couple of weeks after that. I think I mentioned it again after that.
Perhaps people aren't looking on eBay as much as they used to.
No, and I think that, as I mentioned before, I don't know if cutting that bit out or not, but as I mentioned before, eBay has taken a bit of a turn with manipulation of sales. So bidding, when it comes to bidding jumpers, makes it really hard. Like, I know people don't like sniping, but you kind of have to nowadays because otherwise people are bidding up their own jumpers or they're getting their friends to bid them up and it's just manipulating the hell out of it and you don't know what they're going to go for nowadays. The amount of times I've seen that the same jumper goes back up 4 or 5 times after it's sold is just ridiculous. And it's pretty obvious what's been happening. So, I mean, it's all right if it's a buy now. Like, I'm more than happy to buy a buy now jumper because you know what you're getting at. Yeah. But when it comes to bidding, I just stay away from it or just bid last second. And a lot of people don't like it, but you kind of got to do it now.
Yeah, that's the best thing that you can do because there's a lot of dodgy business going on. So, yeah, I try and play it cool and weigh our bids, but I don't always do it, but I try to.
I'm horrible with bidding because I've got the
memory of a goldfish.
I've got the memory of a goldfish. And on top of that, even if I do remember, I've got this competitive nature about me where all I've got to do is put the higher number on the keyboard. It's all I've got to do is just put a higher number on, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And then I get to the end of it, and I go, yes, I won. And then I go, oh, man, now I've got to pay for it. This, hey? Pay overs on
maybe
something
that's
you
why
didn't
he hasn't
want.
got many.
Hence why he hasn't paid for the jumper yet that he bought last week.
Paying for that tomorrow.
Oh.
Actually, it's funny he mentions the fact that he's got a memory of a goldfish because we actually talked about doing this interview probably less than 24 hours ago. I asked him if he wanted to do it because this is actually the first time Josh has done an interview with me since episode 2, I think.
I just momentarily
he forgot
the information of this being on tonight.
He rocks up all cock a hoot because he's just bought a new car out of absolutely nowhere today.
All right.
And I said, mate, yeah, let's go have a drive, but we're going to get back and we've got to interview Andy Munro. Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that. And those are your words exactly, by the way.
Oh, yeah, okay. I did say that, but I didn't mean to say that.
Thankfully, we got him here. He's knackered, but we've got him in here. And we're having a great time, I reckon.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, it's a good.
Interviewing the famous Andy Munro from TikTok. That's all the way I feel anyway.
I love it. I'm shaking in my boots right now. I've got sweat.
You shouldn't be.
I have as well. It's bloody hot now.
I want to buy your jumper to the one you're wearing now as a celebration of this moment. We're going to frame it and put it up on the wall there.
Famous TikTok Player Issue podcast guest. Jumper on the wall there. Mate, that would go crazy when we auction that off. That's a good item for one day, isn't it? Andy Munro, a match-worn jumper.
Or just the one he's wearing now. Just interview worn jumper.
No, that's the one you'll be wearing to bed every night.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, jeez. Give it a good wash.
As long as you sign it and send it my way, I'm happy.
Speaking of signed, do you prefer your jumpers signed or unsigned, Andy? Or either way, you don't know.
Generally unsigned, but I don't mind a signed jumper. But if I had to choose, it would be unsigned, signed on the number on the back, just not to clutter up the design. Because I'm always about the design. But yeah, I usually, if I ask for a jumper from a player, I generally request for them to sign on the number, and they're pretty happy to do that. One time I didn't do that. with one of my jumpers. I was pretty filthy with myself, so I don't mind it on the number. But yeah, generally unsigned.
Have you ever been put off by a signature on a jumper? It's a player you want, it's a design you want, but the signature's just not doing it for you?
Or too many.
I don't really get put off, but it does play a factor, and sometimes other people don't bid on it because of that reason. So I'm happy to swoop in and get that jumper because it's signed. But I'm not too fussed, but I would prefer it to be unsigned generally.
I was going to say I prefer unsigned as well, just for the idea of...
Yeah, but see, there's a difference here between you having it unsigned and Andy having it unsigned. Because Andy lives in the middle of absolutely nowhere. The reason why you want it unsigned is because you want to get it signed, right?
Yeah, but I live on the other side of the country of the players I want to sign the jumpers anyway, so...
But you can go to the training sessions occasionally. But
once a year if they don't get...
That's right. But Andy lives literally in the middle of friggin' Alice Springs, probably, of Adelaide. It's totally a different city, but...
I don't think I'm going to be able to go to a training session this year.
It's next weekend, mate. Next Sunday. I keep looking at my watch, and again, it tells me the time.
That's
not
the game,
the day.
but I don't reckon the players are going to be allowed to come near me.
Potentially, you're right. Yeah, damn COVID there. Yeah. So, Andy, what is your reason for not having them signed or preferring them unsigned?
Just to make it cleaner for the design, and I've got a few that are signed. Like, if I had to be signed, it would be by good players, not loose cloggers, but. Yeah, just mainly to clean up the design.
Is your Dill Buckley signed?
It is not, so that's something I need to try and get signed. If he has like a live show and I make my way there, I might have to bring him.
I mean, surely your status now, you can just send him an Instagram message and ask to ship it off to him, and he'll sign it for you and ship it back, surely.
Well, I am actually a Patreon member, so I do pay for his extra content. So perhaps that might be one of the benefits I can get from being a Patreon of his.
100%. Just make a TikTok video. He'll see it. He'll do it. No problem. I guarantee it.
That's true. I'll put that on the list to make a video on that.
I look forward to seeing that as well. I will be watching out for it.
I'll pretend I watched it too.
Andy, what's your most unique jumper? It can be retail or player issue, preferably both. What's your most unique jumper? Retail or player issue or both?
Oh, most unique. I actually have an AFL Premiership 2005 a PlayStation game jumper, which is not a player issue, obviously, but that's very unique.
Is that the blue and black one?
Yes, blue and white sides for the PS2 game. But I also got East Coast Eagles player issue from the Sydney Football League.
Yep.
I messaged them on Facebook because I wanted to get it because it was an ochre jumper, and I wasn't sure if they got the actual AFL ochres at the time, but they didn't. I think it was just a retail with their number ironed on the back, but that was a pretty cool one to get a match worn from there because I always remember looking in the old AFL footy record and seeing East Coast Eagles in the Sydney League, and I thought that was a weird-ass name, so I thought I might get one of their jumpers, and I ended up getting one. But yeah, I think that's about it.
What about AFL? What's the most unique AFL jumper you got?
I have a Boomer Harvey 1998 preseason, which I guess is pretty unique. I ended up getting that from a guy whose family was involved with North at the time, and he's got given it. And he used to wear it at Auskick, so it has got a few rips on it. For a pretty expensive jumper, he used to wear it. He must have been a big kid at the time. He's wearing it.
Real big kid. Although Boomer's not real big, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Is that the Bounding Rouge jumper?
Yeah. It is the 98 preseason. So it's not the Bounding Route. It's got the rule on it with the Kangaroos lettering below it.
Oh, yeah. Josh is just mesmerised by your wall for a second there.
Yeah, I actually was. I was just looking up at the oh, look at that Bears one.
Josh just jumped at the Bears jump as soon as he's seen it.
I saw the there's another
97.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice one up there. What's that one? The training jumper.
Nah, screw you. Go
looks like a Chris. Is that a Chris Scott or a Brad Scott trainer?
Yeah, it's Brad Scott. I think. You're right.
I've seen that one before.
That's a good pickup on there, I reckon.
The West Coast one as well. Is that West Coast one?
The Ochre.
Is that it?
Which one was that?
Oh, is that the East Coast Eagle one you're talking about? The Ochre in the corner.
Nah, go back. It was behind you in the where you're sitting up the. Yeah.
It is a West Coast Ochre.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the ochre one. But that's not the East Coast Eagles. That's just a team sign one I have.
I love that design.
Yeah.
It's I don't know why.
It's one of those ones that you either love or you hate.
Yeah, and I love it. I'm all for that.
Same here.
And the like that.
The BGC preseason.
Yeah,
I like that too.
I actually think
Yeah.
whose is that one?
It's just a retail, that one. It would be pretty expensive if it was a player issue.
You would think that.
Yeah, but there was one not long, 1 or 2
No,
years ago.
Yeah, there was. Also, there was one of mine that went up for sale, which I thought, oh, this is going to go real well, and it went for $280. So I'm real pissed that I didn't keep that. That was I believe it was a match-worn Chad Morrison signed by him as well. So, that pissed me off. I should have kept that.
That's the one you got in the op shop.
It's one I got in the op shop. So the stupid thing or the mistake that I make is if I find something cheap in an op shop and I think, oh, beauty, I can make some money for another jumper here. Instead of my thought process of, if I was going to see this on eBay, I would buy this for $300-400. Just keep the damn thing.
Yeah.
Why sell it?
Yeah.
Well, the stupid mistakes that we make when jumpers are a lot cheaper.
Got to learn your lessons somehow.
Things do change over time.
That's it.
Andy, do you have a value on your entire collection?
Well, I'd say I've got about 200. So if you say roughly $100 each, there's 20 grand. So that's about a rough figure, I suppose.
What do your parents think about the fact that you have $20,000 worth of T-shirts in your bedroom?
That is a good question. I think my mum just really likes seeing the mail I get every day. She thinks it's cool. Have a hobby, I suppose.
It's probably her collection as well.
Yeah.
She actually, my mum ended up buying a Glenelg signed jumper from a few of the Glenelg legends, and I guess she was following my footsteps when she bought that at auction. But I've got lost my train of thought. Oh yeah,
Sounds like Josh.
I do emphasize my sales for I emphasize my sales because then she knows I do get a little bit of money back. So it's not all spending. I do get a little bit of money back when I sell. So I try and emphasize that to make it feel better.
You hide the parcels coming in as much as you can, but you make a point of the ones going out. Like, look, Mum, I'm selling this.
Yeah, I make sure she there's a parcel if you go and buy the post office, take all these 3 parcels.
Yeah.
That's funny, actually. When I lived at home, every jumper I ever bought, every jumper I ever got, I got for free. As far as the parents was concerned, I got this for free. Someone just sent it to me. Yeah, it's really cool, really nice of them. Hey, oh look, I sold this jumper for $100. Like, oh, I'm doing really well with myself. And actually, it's quite funny that I thought of that right now because got to the point where I was selling so many jumpers at one point that my dad was always the one at home, and he was always the one handing out the jumpers to the people coming to pick them up. So he always said he wished he had a cash register because people would hand him money to take the money off him to give him the jumper and move on. So we said, oh, well, let's get him a cash register. We went to the toy shop and we bought one of those little tiny kids' toy cash registers in the little visor, and he actually used it. So when he opens up the door and he's wearing this visor and he's got his little cash register, oh, there you go, mate, that's $100 handed over. And the dude was just like, what's going on here?
That's fantastic.
True story.
My jumpers cost about half as much as what they actually cost.
Yeah.
Asking anyone if anyone asks.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But if anyone asks my value, it's huge. It's $100,000.
Yeah.
I only paid like
No, I paid nothing for all my jumpers.
Yeah.
It's great.
Amazing how many people
Very
gifted me all
wise
these jumpers.
All 10 of them.
So your parents, they're cool with your collection, I take it.
Yeah, pretty cool, and they always happy to see what I pick up, especially like the local players, and they're always interested in that.
Is there, obviously there's a fair few footy jumpers coming through. Is there anything else that you collect as well?
Yeah, I do collect soccer as well because I obviously play soccer, so I've got about 50 or 60 soccer jerseys I do wear. I've got a few match ones here and there, but not so many. But yeah, I'm trying to collect a few more overseas players, so like Harry Kewell and Mark Viduka and stuff like that when they played overseas. And I've got a fair few just retails I'm wearing, so yeah.
That's actually, I sent you a link to an auction that I can't remember whose jersey it was, but it was a soccer jersey. It was an Aussie player. He was an overseas player. Do you remember who that was?
I can't remember that now off the top of my head.
So you didn't
I can't
pick
remember.
it up, obviously, was going to be my question. Because I remember it was
No.
super cheap. I was like, this is a beauty. I thought you
might
picked
have,
that one
I
up.
don't know. I can't remember.
Do you have an ultimate goal for your collection, Andy? Is there somewhere that you'll get to that you'll think, okay, I'm pretty done now? Or is it just going to be a forever thing? I'm just going to pick up as much as I can and just continue spending all mum's money.
No, I don't think there is an end goal. I think it's just going to be a continual thing. But perhaps I'll get to a stage where I've got enough in quantity, I'll just upgrade quantity, or other way around. But anyway, yeah, I would. I'd like to get my local players and then finish that off. I've got a few more 90s for my late 90s collection, which is just I'm happy with the retails, but hopefully tick them off. And I just like picking up different designs. So if there's a club like wearing a different design, like say Melbourne last year with their throwback to the 90s pre-season, I'll happily pick one of those up. And I just like the different designs as well. So yeah, I think I'll just hopefully buy less in the future, but maybe buy better quality.
Yeah, good call. I find that most people who are serious hardcore collectors, they don't really have an end game. People that get into the collecting just because they want certain things, they'll get out of it a lot quicker, and they won't spend as much money or as time as we do as far as just non-stop eBay searching or anything like that. It'll just be get in, get what you want, pass it on to the grandkids later, and they're happy. Whereas we're a little bit too nuts, to be honest. And you'll end up with a cave like mine where I've just got jumpers everywhere and I have to move stuff out quite often because there's too much coming in that I just have no space. So, yeah, we're a little bit nuts when it comes to actual hardcore collecting, I think.
Yeah, I think we've definitely caught some bug and can't get rid of it now.
Yeah, no doubt.
Man, I'm not nuts with I'm, again, 10 jumpers over there.
You are nuts in the fact that you've let so many great ones go for so cheap.
I think my thing is I know I'll have lots. There will come a time where I'll have a massive amount and I will spend stupid amounts of money on jumpers, but I think because I'm so aware of that, I'm just delaying the inevitable. I'm like, it's coming.
You'd be 35-year-old, married, with your own house, a dog.
Yeah.
Sounds just like my life.
Sounds like...
But what a wonderful life it is.
That's it. Out of all these jumpers hanging on the wall, what's number one? I mean, and is it number one? Or is it... What number is your number one?
I don't think there is a number one, to be honest. When there's so many, it's hard to pick one. If I had to pick a favourite design, it is the 90s Crows pre-season. But I don't think there is a number one in whole.
There's obviously favourites though. There's got to be a couple of like.
There's got to be favourites.
I'm never getting rid of these. These are the three that if I had to strip them down, these are the ones that I've got to keep.
Your farm's burning down, Andy. You can only take one jumper. Which one is it?
I have thought about that so much, you won't believe it. Anyway.
And he's gone.
I do believe it.
Your thought pattern's probably, if I can grab one, I can grab two. And if I can grab two, I can probably grab a handful. Yeah. I can see it there. I would just be ripping my arms down the wall, running out the walls, running out the house.
No, only one.
If I had to pick, it would be the Andrew McLeod 96 prototype. It wasn't player issue, but still his number. And also the Boomer Harvey one from the 98 pre-season, a pretty cool one as well. But, yeah, I reckon they'd probably be my pick.
I think you've broken Dill Buckley's heart, to be honest.
Well, he can get a third pick.
All right, Andy, last question for you. What is your whale jumper? What is that one jumper that you don't have that you have to have in your collection and hope one day you can score it?
If we're talking absolute whales, I just mentioned Andrew McLeod. Andrew McLeod 97 grand final match would probably be the best jumper you could ever get, in my opinion. But I don't know how likely that would be. To get any Andrew McLeod grand final jumper would be unreal.
Pretty sure that's the second time that's been mentioned, has it not? I think Rob Lee said the same jumper, didn't he?
Yeah, it's probably, if you're a Crows fan, that's what you'd be picking, I reckon. That's probably the best you can ever get. I'm sure he'd beat me. He's got plenty of NBA jumpers, NBA jerseys he can sell.
He's got a $300,000 Michael Jordan jersey in his cupboard. I think he'd be all right for finances, I reckon.
Yeah, I could buy a few tractors with that.
Maybe you guys could go halves and just split it down the middle.
Yeah, perfect.
Easy done. I can have the front, he can have the back.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, it's been an absolute pleasure. We finally got you on here. I thank Josh for coming to help me do this because I don't think it could have been done with just myself. Would have been rather boring, but no, I really do appreciate you coming on, sparing us your time. It is, 11 o'clock over there, so I do appreciate you hanging out with us because you probably have to be out of bed in about 4 hours, so I do appreciate you coming on.
No, thank you guys for having me. It's been awesome to be on here finally, and I look forward to not listening to this one. I hate listening to my own voice, but I'll be definitely listening to the end of it.
I know that's a complete lie, and you'll be listening to this 17 times, so keep it up because when you do, I get paid 10 cents, so keep it up.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, bud. Cheers.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
All right, there we go. Thank you very much to Andy Munro for coming on to the show. That rhymed. I didn't even mean to do that. But anyway, thank you, Andy, for coming on. I really appreciate having you on. It's been a while to get you on, but it was a great interview. I know I really enjoyed it, and Josh actually left quite happy as well. He enjoyed the show. He actually perked up after a while. He could probably tell during the interview he was rather quiet to begin with, but he really perked up and enjoyed himself. I will be honest, we cut out a lot of stuff because Josh and Andy ended up having a little bit too much fun at a few points, and they ended up talking about the jumpers on the wall and really getting way too in-depth about all them and had nothing to do with the actual interview, so we had to cut out a fair bit. But I think what we ended up with was really, really good. I really enjoyed it, and it was really interesting to hear about the TikTok experience because I still don't get it just yet. As I said in the show during the interview, that Emma is a big fan of TikTok. Aren't you, Emma?
Hang on, I don't post anything. I'm really entertained by it.
Extremely.
Really good stuff on there.
Well, okay, in that case, if you haven't been on TikTok, be careful, but go on and have a look because it does have some pretty entertaining stuff on there. But if you like Emma, you'll get stuck looking at it for the 2 hours.
Yeah, and when you get bored watching something on TV and you just say, I'll just have a quick flick, and before you know it, 70 minutes later or whatever, you've been on there and Erin's like, are you watching the TV show? I don't watch anything. Yeah,
so when I get the whole, aren't we going to watch the Mighty Ducks? We did just watch the Mighty Ducks, but you were too busy looking at TikTok. You didn't see any of it.
No.
Yes, it happens a lot.
But I found some really good videos.
So, yes, TikTok is a lot of fun. Obviously, Andy has a great avenue there, and he's doing it really well. And he's obviously getting people come to him with jumpers. So, he's opened up a really good avenue for himself to get more jumpers. So, he's done really well. Good job, mate. And 10,000 plus followers is a really good thing to do. Obviously, a shout-out from Dill Buckley helped. But his stuff's entertaining. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely should do so. I've often just sat there and watched a bunch of his videos and just, I got, just like you said, 70 minutes and I'm lost in whatever it is I'm doing, which is absolutely nothing really, but it's good stuff, entertaining stuff. So
his is definitely a lot different from what other people post as well. Like it's almost what you're doing, but on TikTok.
Yeah, he's doing mini podcasts essentially, but answering people's questions in however long the videos last.
Yeah, and I think he does like opening of packages and stuff when he gets new packages and stuff. So it's sort of what you do, but on a different scale.
I don't understand unboxing videos like on YouTube.
People love it.
Yeah, people watch it. I say I don't understand it, but I have watched some, and I don't understand why I watch it.
But you watch it.
And I don't get it because I know what's going to happen. They're going to open stuff and they're going to show you, and, oh my God, that was amazing. But you still watch it. I don't get it. But Andy does the same thing. He opens up his packages and shows his jumpers off. That, I guess that to me is exciting because I like seeing the new stuff he pulls out. And one of his newer ones was actually the Rory Atkins Indigenous player issue jumper that he bought from the Player Issue Podcast auction. Great auction those guys do. You should check it out. They're really good.
Yeah, good people.
Great people. So that was actually cool to see that. So yeah, check out his TikTok. It's a lot of fun. If you love jumpers and you love just chatting about footy, he will definitely answer your questions. I was actually a little bit disappointed with Andy, and it's sad to hear, but I was a little bit disappointed he didn't have an after party this year.
Yeah, we were like ready for it. We had disco lights going on everything. There was no after party.
No.
We had the drinks out, and it was like, no, he's let us down.
No, set up the cave. Josh was even still awake afterwards, which was a surprise. Set up the cave. The lights were all flashy, and everyone was pumped and excited. We looked at Andy's TikTok, nothing. No after party at all.
Nothing.
Nah, disappointing, Andy.
And by that point, me and Josh had gone to bed.
Yeah. Left me to continue waiting to see if there was going to be an after party.
Party by yourself, which is pretty much what you do.
But anyway, thank you, Andy, for coming on. We had a lot of fun. We actually can't wait to get you back on. Probably give it another year and we'll get you on again and we'll see how much the collection has grown. No doubt it will have grown exponentially by that point. So, yeah, thank you again, Andy. You're a great chat and I thoroughly enjoyed it. All right, Emma, what should we talk about now?
Well, go on. Devastate me with how much money you've spent and what you've purchased in the last week.
Last week.
Ugh.
I'll give you the last month, which is a little bit worse. Will be a lot worse. However, the first one was a trade, so I didn't have to pay anything.
Oh, good. I like the sound of that.
I got in a 2004 Carlton Blues Daniel Harford. So he also played for the Hawks, if you don't remember. Round 21 player issue jumper. Round 21, I say that because it was obvious, because they wore what was the AGL sponsor, and they only wore that for one game. So I was really excited to get that in. I actually traded it for a jumper I literally just got in as well. I was quite happy to have it, but Hamish Clark, who is a really good bloke, he messaged me and said, hey man, I'm really after this jumper for my collection. Any chance you'd be willing to trade? And I said, yeah, well, if you really need it, of course I'll be entertaining a trade for you, no problem. And he offered up this jumper for me, which I would have been silly to pass up. So took the trade deal and quite happy with it. So thank you to Hamish, you champion. Next jumper was, I already had it in the collection. However, we did a few little favours for Lockie Schultz in the last couple of weeks. Emma was with me as well. She came along and met Lockie and his girlfriend. And we dropped off a 65.
He'd literally just flown back in too.
Yeah, he'd just flown. It was quite weird, actually, because we were sitting there watching him play against the Crows the night before. And then the next day, we're dropping off a 65-inch TV to him at the footy club. So that was interesting.
He was more interested in asking us about our basketball game to worry about what he was doing.
Yeah, so we were literally just pulled in to play basketball. So he was more interested in us than the... Well, we didn't really get to ask him any questions about the footy, but...
Do you think we'll ever find out if that TV made it home in one piece?
I did check with him.
Oh, thank God for that.
I thought about it. I thought, oh, gee, I haven't heard anything from him, but I should probably check. So I messaged him and I said, oh, how's the TV going? And he said, thank you very much for getting it for me because it's absolutely amazing.
Oh, he made me so nervous. He throws this TV in the back of the ute. It doesn't even fit in the back of the ute. It's hanging over the ute and he goes, she'll be right.
Oh, my God.
We watched it pull out of the driveway and we were like, it's not going to make it. It's not going to make it.
Especially he was going over these rather large humps as well and he wasn't going slow.
Oh, no, he was flogging it. You could just see this TV bouncing around. And I was like,
It's a $2,500 TV and he literally just threw it in the back of you, sideways as well, mind you, on its side. I said, yeah, she'll be right, mate. And off he went. So I was very nervous. Being a JB Hi-Fi employee, I see quite often TVs come back cracked, so... I was quite nervous about that one, but no, he was rather stoked. He was actually trying to get a Samsung off me originally because Griffin Logue's got one. And he told him how good it is and how he wanted that one. I managed to talk him out of getting that and then into getting this Sony 65-inch Bravia purely because it was actually made specifically for the PS5. So it gave it the best quality that you can get out of the TV currently. And he was very thankful that I did that because it looked absolutely amazing. So
I feel like you've just flogged off a TV to a few people now.
Reckon I might have. So if you want to know what it is, it was the 65 KD 9000. So check it out.
JB Hi-Fi, Mandra Forum, Warwick, look him up.
Look us up. That's indeed. Actually, there's not too many of those left. So you need to get
errands?
Not too many errands, no. Well, there's not. There's no mail errands that I know of. Anyway, off Lockie. He's a great bloke, but
off the TV.
We'll get off Lockie for a moment. Well, actually, we won't get off Lockie because the next item is an item that Lockie actually gave me in return for doing him those favours.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I probably shouldn't mention it, and I'm kind of hoping that nobody from the club is listening right now. So I'm going to take my chances. He gave me his 2021 purple training jumper. So, yeah. It was actually quite funny because I said to him, aren't you going to need to wear this? And he said, no, I'm pretty sure we're done with the purple trainer this year. So I said, okay, no worries. No problem, I'll take it. I did message him that night and said, hey, do you want me to not mention anything about, I will not put it up on social media or anything like that? And he said, yeah, probably a good idea just in case they ever find out they might ask questions. Well, the funny thing is I looked at training on the Tuesday, so 2 days later, and they were wearing the purple jumpers. He was wearing a different number.
Oh, whoops, we couldn't find it.
So I don't have that in my collection. I don't know what's going on
It
there.
got lost in the post.
Yes. No, it's currently in my cupboards. Next thing I got in was from another listener, Alex Embry. You are a champion. Thank you for giving me the chance to own them. Nat Fife, 2020 Clash jumper. Match worn. Definitely match worn. It's got some stains all over it. And the GPS is smashed. So really happy to pick that one up. And he also offered up to me a 2020 Jesse Hogan White Indigenous as well, which are quite hard to get. And they were really hard to get at the auction, or the sale rather. There wasn't too many that were put out. So
Probably only saw about maybe 5.
yeah, I reckon
Maybe
it was
5
only
or 6,
5
yeah.
or 6. Yeah,
Wasn't many.
No, not at all. So yeah, I was super stoked to get that one and really happy to pick it up. So thank you to Alex for those ones. The Wildcats actually came up with a really quick player issue sale on their website as well, which I was quite annoyed. I actually missed out on the start of it because they advertised that there was going to be some Bryce Cotton game worn stuff, but I missed the start of the sale because I didn't see the Instagram post. They literally just put up an Instagram post and said this will be starting soon.
Let's get this right. Aaron Warwick missed out on a sale, or almost missed out on a sale.
Yes.
That doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. And unfortunately, like I said, they didn't really advertise it.
No,
so I had
it was
no
just
idea.
it was a quick thing. It was within like a few, maybe an hour.
Yeah,
or two.
something like that. They said,
like,
here you go, there's a sale
Here's a
coming
sale.
out.
Good luck.
basically. So, yeah, I was a bit annoyed when I saw that. I think it was already 3 hours in. So, I missed out on all the Bryce Cottons, unfortunately, but I did manage to pick up a Derek Cook Jr., an Angus Brandt, and a Nick Kay all game worn. So, they're really, really nice jerseys. I also picked up a pair of 2009-10-ish Freo Dockers socks, which are really cool. So, just throw that in there for you. But they're definitely only player issue too, because they didn't actually have them as retail. So they're really, really nice looking. That's actually it for what I picked up as far as footy goes. So I know I just mentioned basketball. Because I mentioned basketball, I'm going to tell you what I picked up in the basketball sector. So I want to start a little side collection, and it's going to be a real big mistake by the time I've completed it. Because as I may have mentioned before, when I picked up my James Ennis jersey a couple months ago, thank you to Dave Causey again, they're not cheap at all. So this little side collection I want to do, it's going to cost me a fair bit. So it's going to be a while until I actually really get into doing it. The smaller clubs aren't so bad, but you're still looking at 300 to 400. Well, let's be honest, more like 400 to 500 minimum for almost nobodies. So I was kind of trying to get lucky, but I
Should I block my ears for this conversation?
yeah, you probably should. But I actually picked up a DeMarcus Cousins game issue. So DeMarcus Cousins was a fantastic player for the Sacramento Kings. So I picked up a Kings Cousins player issue jersey. Probably one, I'm not too sure.
Hang on, before you go any further, can I just say your luck has been down in the dumps
At the moment,
trying to get these jumpers.
jerseys. Now, these ones are
For
called
goodness
jerseys.
sake, like jumpers, jerseys. Yep, carry on.
NBA, I'll definitely call them jerseys all day
Okay,
long.
so your luck has been down in the dumps getting these jerseys.
A little bit. Now, reason for that being is I picked up this Sacramento Kings jersey, and I was stoked to get it because it was a DeMarcus Cousins, and there was an auction going up this same time on NBAauctions.com, but they are incredibly expensive, and the shipping is about $100. So I was thinking, I'll pick up these Cousins. I actually offered them well under what they were asking. I think they were asking about $800 or $900, but I offered them far less. And I think I ended up getting it for about $627. And then I waited a couple of days, literally 3 days actually, mind you, after they'd already sent it. So it had been sent. And then after 3 days, they messaged me and said, very sorry to let you know, unfortunately this parcel has been lost at the post office. Here's your refund. Sorry. I was like, excuse me. Who goes and tells somebody that after 3 days, so it's not like they waited 3 weeks and said, oh no, it's been lost in the mail.
It was like, give it to the post office. Oops, lost. Sorry.
3 days. That does not happen.
You have no idea how devastated he was too. I heard about this for the whole night. It was like, this jersey.
I was gutted. And the reason for that was because this, not only did I miss out on this jersey, which pissed me off to begin with, but I missed out on the auction because of it. So the auction that they were auctioning off this year was the 2021 City jersey. So they were the really cool design. So that obviously this year as well. And I would have been all over those if I had time, but unfortunately that had ended by the time that this moron decided to cancel my auction and refund my money. So I was quite pissed off. And
So you ended up with nothing.
oh, I ended up with nothing. I got my money back, so I had $627 sitting there in my account. And unfortunately, when I have that money sitting there, I want to do something with it. So, I didn't. Luckily, I didn't. But kind of, I managed to stop myself from getting my filthy grubs all over some shit stuff, which often happens, far too much anyway. Or I have money and I'll end up just go blowing it on some crappy jerseys that mean nothing. So I did wait, and I'm glad I waited. But I also went and bought another James Ennis jersey.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, well, there is. But I went and bought another James Ennis jersey to complement the home one that I've got.
To fill the void in his heart.
Yeah, well, that's true. I did. So I went and bought this James Ennis jersey to fill the void. It didn't spend as much as I got back. It was only about $400. And I also got some Sacramento Kings stuff to go with it. Now, this is just little knick-knacky stuff. The only reason I bought it is because it was cheap. It was on sale, a couple of bucks each.
And it was going to give you free postage, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. I still had to pay for postage, but I would never have bought this stuff if I didn't buy that jersey.
Yep.
Because there's no way I'd pay, it was about $40.
But you thought, since I'm buying this jersey, I might as well buy some stuff and get it all put in the same shipping together.
Exactly. So this jersey is coming from America, so the shipping cost is never cheap. So I thought, yeah, okay, I'll buy all this little stuff as well, get it over here. It'd be quite cool to have because you never find any Sacramento Kings stuff in Australia. So I thought I'll take my opportunity here and I'll buy all this stuff as well and get it all sent at the same time. So I got an email that was sent out. All the little knick-knacky stuff that I bought was all sent, all posted, no problem. But they said there was a delay in getting the James Ennis jersey out. Okay, whatever. As long as it comes, it's not a problem. Next day, I get an email to say my order's been cancelled. So I'm not having a real good time here. So obviously my other items are on the way. And so I got a refund for the James Ennis jersey, which, mind you, because it was a few days later, the exchange rate had changed and I actually lost about $30 just through the exchange rate refund, which pissed me off. But then, of course, I copped the cost of the shipping as well and the taxes. So I think that all came to about $100.
For all this stuff that you wouldn't have bought if you weren't buying.
All this little stuff cost me 35 Australian dollars. $100 postage. I was pissed at this point. And the excuse of the reason that this James Ennis jersey got cancelled annoyed me even more. Because when I sent through my parcel locker address to them, they emailed back and said, this looks like a mistake. Are you sure this is correct? Please confirm within 2 business days that this is the correct address. Otherwise, we'll cancel your order. Literally 3 minutes. I sent an email back saying, yes, this is correct. And I wrote it all out again. And said, this is my address, this is the phone number, because they asked me for my mobile as well, to confirm everything. Beautiful. I didn't think another thing of it. Then they emailed and said it was cancelled because I didn't send through an email confirming my address. So by this point, I'm freaking ropeable. And it was after midnight, so I was actually in bed when I got this email and I nearly threw something at Emma sleeping, but I didn't, thankfully.
Yeah, thanks for that.
It's usually her throwing something at me for snoring. But, but yeah, I was ropeable at this point. And then I sent him an email and said, hang on, this is ridiculous. Why did this get cancelled? And that's when they told me it was because I never responded to the email. I went back and found my sent email, screenshotted it, sent it to them and said, well, here you go. Literally 3 minutes it took me to reply to your email, so this is absolute bollocks. And I'm not going to sit here and wear the cost of all this shit. So I did ask for a refund on the shipping, and obviously they didn't fight me back because they saw that I had sent that email within 3 minutes. Didn't fight me back at all. They just refunded my shipping. I should definitely have asked for a refund on more stuff though.
Just everything.
Because they got me $40 back for the shipping, but I still had to wear all the taxes, which are another.
Didn't they also
$50.
say it was out of stock?
Yeah, so they said originally they said that the James Ennis jersey was cancelled because it was out of stock, and then I fought back and said, well, it's not out of stock because it said there was 2 available. And if you look on your website right now, it's still there.
There's still 2 available.
So you're absolute bollocks. And that's when they emailed back afterwards and said it was cancelled because you didn't reply to email. So I called their bluff. I won, but they won a little bit as well because I ended up having to fork out a heap for taxes. So it still cost me think about $65 for $30 worth of stuff. But, oh well, I'll take the win. So by that point, I was annoyed and thought, screw this. I'm just going to go out and buy some the next Sacramento Kings jersey that I see, because I need a Sacramento Kings jersey in the collection, and it has to be a game-worn one, because I want to have a game-worn or issued jersey from every team in the collection. But obviously Sacramento Kings being my team, I had to have one as soon as possible. So I found one and I bought it, and it cost me $509, and it's on the way. They've sent me the tracking, so fingers crossed it doesn't go missing in 3 days, because I'd be pissed if this happens to me again. I also bought a Cleveland Cavaliers Patrick McCaw as well, which looks really cool, and it only cost me about $370, so that was really cool. Luckily, I did sell a few things to be able to pay for that one, so that didn't hurt the bank account.
At this point, he's just watching the glare on my face.
I also put $500 into a wedding account, if that helps. I got paid a very nice bonus.
Very well. I don't really care.
I got paid a really nice bonus.
I don't really care.
So a little bit went to the hobby and the collection, and a fair bit went to the wedding. So that's not far away. At the end of the day,
as long as the bills get paid, who cares?
That's it. And it was 5.5 months to the wedding. We're going all right. So I'm on the lookout for some more NBA player issue jerseys. If anyone has one or know of some other than Rob Lee, let me know, because I want one from each team. And now I have 3, so I have 27 to go. But it will take a few years for me to get there, I think.
Anything under $100.
Not going to happen.
So is that it? That's it? For what you found? What you bought?
That's it, yeah. I don't think I've got anything else in. So, yeah, that's it for what I've got.
Right. So what'd you find?
What did I find? So what have I found on eBay in the last month? A lot.
Oh, geez.
A hell of a lot. It's crazy. I'm cutting down on this list because...
If you guys are driving, just pull over. You'll be here for a while.
Well, Dave Causey's having a listen, and I think he's in the air at the moment, on his way to Tassie, I believe. So he's got a long trip ahead of him.
Does he live in WA?
No, he lives in Melbourne. It's actually not that long.
I was going to say, if you live in WA, get out while you can, quick.
So, Dave, shout out to you, mate. Hopefully this is going all right for you. A few things I did notice. Now, I hate eBay, and I've said that multiple times, and I said it in the interview as well. I don't like any of the bidding. I'm over the bidding. I'm not going to do it unless it somehow still manages to stay cheap, and I'm doing it the last second because it's the only way I'm going to get it and feel like I'm not being ripped off by manipulators. But there's a few out there. So there was a couple of things that have sold multiple times. So this is the exact reason why I'm not going to do it. There was actually a Collingwood number 37. That got sold for $105.50. Got resold again. Went for $152.50. And that's kind of been bouncing around a bit now. But I think that one was just a good deal to start with, to be honest. Then there was a Gary Ablett 2018 player issue. Went for $460. The great Gaz, holding value for sure. An Andrew Swallow 2017 North Melbourne jumper went for $127.50. 2003 Hawthorn Hawks Heritage Round Sam Mitchell went for $710. $710. So that was when Sam Mitchell was number 28. So a bit of a different look there, but yeah, good value. Josh Gibson 2011 long sleeve clash went for $510, also Hawks. Finally, that Nigel Smart Adelaide Crows jumper did sell. Not sure what it did sell for, but it was up $650, so I reckon somewhere around there. But thank God that finally sold, because that was a fantastic jumper. A Fremantle Dockers Wizard Cup jumper, number 44, which I've forgotten who that was now. Forgotten who it was, doesn't matter. It went for $315. A 2009 Geelong Cats player issue Lonergan went for $99. The Melbourne Demons, I think I might have mentioned it in the last one, I'm not too sure. The Demons Shanghai Showdown jumper didn't sell the first time. I was quite surprised. Number 50. That one went for $99.99. Good bargain, especially the way Melbourne are playing at the moment. Port Adelaide long sleeve number 11. So Tom Rockcliffe went for $132.50. A little bit of a drop or a dip in the value of Port Adelaide jumpers at the moment. No doubt you'll remember in the last year, 2 years even, how we would talk about how the value of Port Adelaide jumpers were just through the roof. But since the last couple of sales and how many jumpers they just continue to come out with at the shop, they've definitely taken a bit of a drop in pricing. 2019 Anthony McDonald Tippin Woody match worn jumper went for $521. Gotta love the tipper. tipper fast, as Josh would say. GWS Sam Reed jumper went for $56. What a bargain that was. The 2006 International Rules number 11 went for $100. That's a good pickup. Nathan Thompson's early 2000s training jumper went for $63. 2017 Kyle Hartigan Grand Final Adelaide Crows jumper went for $800. So good dollars there, even though there weren't too many happy Crows fans at all after that season. Mitch Duncan 2018 player issue jumper went for $260. Here's one of those jumpers I was talking about earlier where they just keep seemingly coming back around. Whether the non-payers or what, I don't know, but this one was the 1998 Carlton preseason player issue jumper, John Hines, which Andy was lucky enough to pick up the second time around, as we mentioned during the interview. First time it sold for $601. It came back around again, and Andy managed to pick it up for $345. So well done to Andy. I'm sure he was very happy to see that. There was a number 31, West Coast Eagles 2006, which I believe was Mark Nikoski, and it went for $467. This one was a beauty. Sydney Swans player issue Greg Williams jumper, $1,475. Great jumper. Number 5, St Kilda Saints training jumper, the really cool black hot cross buns, went for $137.50. Port Adelaide Carl Amon player issue hoops jumper went for $366.99. Certainly makes my Trent McKenzie $230 look like an absolute steal. A Nick Blakey training jumper from 2020 went for $157.50. Travis Boak 2020 long sleeve player issue Port Adelaide jumper Clash, that is, went for $355. Yet another one of these jumpers that have come back around twice, or 3 times even. Another Fremantle Dockers Wizard Cup 2004 player issue. Aaron Sandlands, this one. So great jumper. Went for $450 originally. It's fully team signed as well on the front. So that could put people off or make them even more excited. I don't know. But that came around another time. So I don't know if it didn't get paid for or, again, one of these manipulation things. I don't know. But this is why I don't bid on eBay at the moment. Came back up again for $450 by now and it didn't sell. And it's currently on auction at the moment and it's at $201. Jonathan Brown, player issue Indigenous jumper from 2014 went for $390. Bit of a steal, I reckon, for a brownie. Travis Boak, long sleeve home jumper from 2020 went for $280. Long sleeve Melbourne Demons player issue, number 4, which is Ben Holland, went for $287. Joe Danaher Bombers player issue, signed by Dyson Heppel on front, went for $202.50. Jake Stringer's 2015 International Rules player issue went for $275. And another Swans training jumper from 2020, which was Will Hayward's, went for $122.50. There was a lot more than that. That was just a few of the ones that I snapshotted. But yeah, that's all that we will mention because I'm out of breath just talking about all that.
He's also trying to watch the Kings game at the same time here.
Yeah, so behind Emma's head is currently the Sacramento Kings versus the Los Angeles Lakers. As I mentioned, the Kings are my team. We're not doing too well, but the Lakers have got their full squad back, and we're hanging in there. So 10 minutes left in the game when we're down by 9, where we were up 15.
And here's me thinking every time you looked over in my direction, you're looking at me.
Sometimes. There's still a few things up on eBay which are very interesting. The 99 Grand Final Carlton Blues jumper number 42 is still up. It is $1,400. I actually got an offer the other day for $1,100 to buy it, and I balked at it for half a second, but did not buy it. So it's still up and ready for your purchase. It's also a 2006 Carlton Blues Jared Waite player issue, long sleeve, $650 or best offer. A beauty just popped up today as well. Hawthorn Hawks 2004 to 2006 preseason player issue, Shane Crawford. Still got 6 days to go, and it's at $231.59, so that will go very well, I would imagine. That Aaron Sandlands, as I was talking about, still has 4 days remaining on it. It's at $202.50. We're very interested to see if it actually does indeed go to somebody this time. A number 16 North Melbourne match worn. Looks pretty newish. Looks like a 2019. He's going for $150. That one is signed as well. Still 4 days left on that one. 2020 Port Adelaide Hamish Hartlett Clash jumper is at $345. with 2 days and 20 hours to go. A Richmond 2010 player issue, Matt White, is at 137.50 with a day and 17 hours. So it's actually quite surprising to see that rather low. Maybe people think Richmond are on the downslide. A Collingwood number 19, 2011, is at 61 with 19 hours to go. This one's rather surprising, actually. I know West Coast have been going a little bit crazy in the last few years. But this is a 2018 Nick Nat Nui Clash jumper, the yellow. Doesn't have a GPS pocket, and it's sitting at $430 with 18 hours to go. So very interesting.
Or retail?
No, it's not a retail. It's definitely a player issue.
How's it got a GPS pocket then?
Because it would never have made it to the club. So it would have been one of the ones that potentially was sold from the Fijian factory or the ISC factory in New South Wales, but it never would have gone close to the West Coast Eagles Footy Club.
So it was made for him, but never saw him, basically.
Nope.
Okay.
No. So no GPS pocket, but someone still wants a Nick Nat Nui player issue at $430 with 18 hours left. So it's winding down. And Nakia Cockatoo, number 5, Geelong Cats.
What a name.
Nakia Cockatoo is no longer at the club. But his jumper is at $61 with 14 hours to go. Adam Oxley, 2012, is at $61 with 13 hours. And a Luke Rounds, Collingwood, 2011. 2011. Luke Rounds is at 75 with 12 hours and 40 minutes to go. That's it. For all the eBay stuff. That's a lot. And I haven't mentioned half of them.
No wonder you're on your phone all the time.
Yeah, it's for this. It's for the podcast. It's research. Well, there were actually some other... There were actually some other stuff that I did see. I did see some stuff on Gumtree. I actually did purchase one myself. I think I've told you about this one, actually. Hope I did, because I'll just put myself in more trouble otherwise.
To be honest, most of the time you tell me and then I'm not actually listening.
What? Thanks. So this one I took a bit of a punt at. And they actually put it up for cheaper, but I offered them a little bit more because it's definitely worth more than that. I couldn't tell exactly...
The one in the frame?
Eh?
The one in the frame?
It's in a frame, yes. So,
the Lions one?
Yes, it's a Lions one.
Okay, so you did tell me.
I did tell you,
okay,
good.
Sorry, continue.
So it's in a frame, which means that I couldn't quite tell if it was a player issue or not. It's a long sleeve from 2000, but it does look like it is a player issue, so I've taken a little bit of a punt, but it's only $250 that I paid for it, and that includes free delivery. So pretty happy with that. Well, it's getting delivered not too far from here. I'll go pick it up. But yeah, so I've taken a little bit of a punt, but it's only $250. So even if it is not a player issue, I could probably quite comfortably sell it for what I paid for it. So
I'm not going to lie. Technically, I bought it because for some reason on your Gumtree, your name is Emma. So he gets all these replies from people going, "Hello, Emma," and I'm like, I'm on Gumtree.
Do you know what? It actually works, I reckon, because the amount of times I've sent people messages on Gumtree.
And they're really nice to him.
And they're really nice to me back because they say, "Oh, hi, Emma. Nice to meet you."
And then you rock up and they're like, "Oh."
Yeah. So it's worked. So I've left the name as Emma and you're welcome. So I'm leaving it as that for now, I reckon, because it's working out for me quite well. And this person was really nice to me as well and were happy to send it to me. So
good. They probably expect this like really nice, like little young blonde thing. That
talk yourself up a little bit more, don't you?
You like the way when I said young, I paused. Young.
So yeah, I took a punt, but I've looked at it multiple times and I'm still looking at it right now. It is signed as well. I'm not going to tell you whose it is yet, because as soon as I get it and I'll figure out whose it is, I'll figure out if it is real or not, then I'll mention it and I'll put it up on my page as well.
Are you taking it out of the frame?
I'll definitely be taking it out of the frame if it's real. So it'll be pretty easy to find out as soon as I get it. I'll have a good close look at it and I'll make my decision whether I keep it or take it out of the frame. Whether I take it out of the frame and keep it or I move it on as it is. But I'm very hopeful that it is what it seems and appears to be, because it will be probably in my top 10, I reckon. It's that good. And I've never had one of this player before, so I would be very happy to pick it up. That's pretty much all we've got today, I reckon.
Rambling on for about 36 minutes.
We have been rambling on quite a lot, so we're going to say goodbye now. Thank you again to Andy Munro for coming on. Thank you to Josh for coming to do the interview with me. And thank you again to the lovely Emma for joining me for the open and close.
What you mean is stealing your show?
stealing the opening to my show. Yeah, don't really appreciate that. Anyway, thank you very much. We'll see you on the next episode, hopefully with Craig Callahan. Thank you very much. Have a good night. See ya. Goodbye, and have a good one.
And good night.